So, hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Water Cooler Chat, where we talk about all things Livepeer, whether it's delegating, orchestrating, broadcasting, transcoding. We're here to ask questions and get answers. We have a couple of topics today, including some new people to the community. So, we're going to start off with a couple of big topics. We'll start off with price per pixel, and then we'll move into some of these ideas around tokenized video and ads built on Livepeer. So we'll go in that order. So let's start off with the price per pixel conversation. Frank, you recently made a post about the price per pixel. Do you want to walk us through what your post was about and what your thoughts are?
Yeah, sure. Good evening, everyone. I wrote a post on the forum about the price per pixel because now there is a few weeks that the price per pixel is integrated to the algorithm selection in Livepeer Inc. We saw actually the price stay very low. It's difficult to up the price because you have to choose between up the price and try to push the price up, but reduce your earn. I know everybody try to set the good price, like Virus told us in the post also. He tried different price to find the best equilibrium between the number of stream and the earning. But the price stay low actually. I don't know if that will regulate naturally in in time, but it's maybe 5 weeks. No, we start with this new algorithm, and the price stay low. I wrote this post to share my talk about that and ask to other orchestrator what they think about that. If they are happy with the actual price, or if they think we must try something, maybe if they have some idea, I don't know, like a set minimum price under what it's difficult to earn something, because actually LPT inflation is very high, so most of the orchestrator earn from the inflation. But in the future, maybe the inflation will go down, maybe near zero. And at this point, the fees from the transcoding turn very important. So maybe it's now we have to fix eventually the problem we have before that was too late. Sorry for my. I hope it's clear, but it's better to read the post. I think. Sorry.
No, that's it's a great topic, and I do appreciate the forum post, which clearly laid out the pain point and maybe a few solutions, which is an amazing rounded post. By the way, I do appreciate the thought put into it because not only did you have the problem statement, you had I think 3 suggestions on how to fix it, which was excellent. Those are my favorite kind of posts. So I'd like to open it up now, yeah, to the community. What are the feedback on the post around the price per pixel, and maybe some solutions? I believe Frank, yours was this idea of a minimum price, maybe a fixed fee that the entire community would agree on, and I can't remember the third one, but yeah.
The third one is a different algorithm, like Virus said also later in the post. It's about something like inverted shaped curve. It's something like logarithmic inverse logarithmic so the price. The weight of the price is lower when you go very low in the price, and so it's not very interesting in this case to put your price very low. Well, I don't know if it works. I try something. I try to set that, and different. I run some tests about that, but actually it's not very okay. So maybe later I will post about the test, but
Yeah, so it's almost like a quadratic decrease
yeah,
in weight as the price gets further away from the set price of the broadcaster, right?
yeah,
And, and actually, that's a really interesting idea because as a broadcaster, you want the best possible quality for the best possible price. But the way it currently works is it only factors in best possible price. And so, yeah, someone can do it for 1 way per pixel, but you're not going to get the quality you want. And so by default, you're not, you're just optimizing for price. And so if you had this kind of quadratic decaying value on price as it gets further away from the broadcaster's price, right? Whether it's logarithmic or some sort of quadratic way of handling that, you could say, well, I want to get close to my price, but if the competition floor is quite low, it'll still reach that, right? But it will disregard people who put it at 0 way per pixel, who then are completely unreliable, right? That's a very interesting concept. Actually,
yeah. It's sorry, and also as a strong said, it's very important if it's possible one day, I don't know, to take for the selection the quality, the capacity of the node, because as you said, actually, okay, the selection is done by the price and the stake, but only the price is not okay, because okay, you pay almost zero, but what about the quality, the capacity of the node? Normally, when you paid also for the quality or for the services. So
definitely.
I want to interject for a moment for the sake of those of us who haven't read this post. Is there any way we can maybe kind of summarize the primary pain point or points we're talking about here? I'm just curious, are we getting a perception from the community that the current implementation is not functioning as intended? Or, are people not getting work unless they put their price super low? I'm not sure. I wanted to get a kind of community feel for it, and what are people's experiences? Like, have you been getting no streams when you said it high? Have you been getting too many streams? Something along that lines.
Yeah, you nailed it on the head. Right now, it's so in favor of price. Not so in favor. It's in favor of price so much that if you set it to 0, you get a lot of streams, which just takes away from the network. And then if you set your price to a reasonable price, you basically get no streams. And so we're in this like constant depressive state of price. And generally, I won't speak on everyone's behalf, but I think the majority of the community sees this as like, it's hindering. It's a pain point because we're not actually charging what we need to be sustainable.
I know we were somewhere. I was seeing averages of, maybe 500 to 1,000 before the change, but now we're obviously mostly under that. So I guess that is a good point. Are we thinking that if we could keep it competitive around where it was, around 500 to 1,000, that would be optimal for orchestrators?
I don't think. Again, anyone can step in, but I don't think. I don't think we're trying to set a standard price per se. It's just so skewed to price that we're just doing it for free, and there's no incentive to do good work.
Hi, guys. Can I interject real quick?
Yes, yeah, go ahead.
All right. So F&G got here. If you would use me as a use case, since I have a brand new account and I've just uploaded some video assets, right? And now I'm talking about tokenizing videos. And for starters, I am super interested in all systems go about price per pixel. And it is in alignment with a project that I have running right now. And, as modestly as I can say, with not understanding fully, which is what I'm getting to, the pain point, I believe I have a solution. But my background is a cryptographic network engineer, and then I transitioned to a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Film. So the currency aspect of the crypto, and specifically how you guys are speaking about it now on this particular platform, is where I'm like trying to fill in the blanks in regards to providing a solution to the pain point of the, I guess, the null is what I'm hearing, and the flux, I guess, in your currency.
Well, we use so we just use ETH for payments, right? So we don't the native currency to do work is just in Ethereum. But as just to answer Interpttr's question, I believe the pain point is that in simple terms, it's become a race to the bottom. And because we have so much supply on the network, we're just all kind of lowering prices to get the small amount of demand that's out there. I think if demand rose, you'd probably see more of an equilibrium and this would be less of a pain point. But because we have so much supply compared to demand, it's just a race to the bottom. So, and
I'm wondering if there's what is the benefit for somebody to put a pixel price at 1, and that's really, even if they get maxed out, they're never going to earn 100 times the streams. I don't think it seems like sustainable at that end. So I feel like the free market aspect might correct.
Right. Yeah. But, so that's a good question. So, why are people setting it at 1, right? I did for a bit because I wanted to see how many streams I could get, right? And I did that for about a week and it was awesome. And I made so little money that I did some math and realized that I'm super unprofitable. So, I rose my price per pixel back up to 900 where I could be profitable. And now I get no streams. So, and then but you can see how the free market is, we just have so much supply. And so it's just come down. And so if demand rose, I think naturally it would find an equilibrium, but until demand rises, this is the pain point.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Until everyone that has their pixel set at something ridiculously low realizes the same thing you have.
Can I ask a quick question? When you guys are saying setting your price per pixel and in the streaming, is that in platform, like where those analytics coming from, or outside the platform calculated as well? Like, I'm trying to understand that.
Sure. So are you using Livepeer Studio? I'm assuming that's what you're using.
Yes.
Yeah. So Livepeer Studio is a hosted gateway where they run the broadcaster infrastructure that they advertise how much they're willing to pay. So as a Livepeer Studio customer, you don't actually get to set your price per pixel. Livepeer Studio sets that for you. And they just have their own flat rates that we know about, right? So you don't have the ability to change your price per pixel in Studio per se. But as free market orchestrators, we're all competing for Livepeer Studios, one broadcaster on the network. We're all vying for that work, right? And so with this new update on price per pixel, which accounts for lower price, right? Then we've all lowered our price for Studio, and so they're getting the benefit. if that makes sense.
So it almost sounds like, is this is this very competitive? Like I haven't, like I hate to sound ignorant. I'm really new. And I have a lot of video content that I really want to enter onto the platform. I'm just really needing to understand the utility of it all. And I'm happy to be here because I believe I'm talking to the right group for sure. Because the distinction of that you just made between like I guess where I am and where you are, like I really like to know what that's all about as in return and in regards to video assets.
Yeah, we're just at the
and their value.
Yeah, we're just at the protocol level, so we're just like a couple layers deeper than where you are, and so if you want to jump down the rabbit hole of where we're at, you might want to just come to these water coolers on a regular basis every week, and you'll kind of slowly pick up the nuances of how, because like we're talking about the selection algorithm within the open source Go Livepeer algorithm that works between the orchestrators and the broadcasters. So like again, you're abstracted away. You're at a much higher level. So I would just recommend listening and just waiting and doing some further research. Because otherwise, if I could probably spend 2 hours trying to explain to you where we're at, and it would just take up the whole water cooler.
No, copy that. Thank you for filling me in. Selection algorithm, copy that. And layers and tiers, I understand, and I'm here to listen and help. Thank you.
Cool. Go to Titan Node YouTube channel, and there's lots of resources there explaining all this, so you can get a basic understanding. Okay, so back to price per pixel. Quickly, Interptr, do you understand the pain point now? Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I was wondering if other orchestrators had similar or different experiences.
Yeah, and so this is, I think, the post that Frank made, which was trying to captivate the pain point, and then provide some solutions. So, okay, I've talked too much. I want to open it up now. Who's got other comments on this particular subject?
I mean, it's definitely an issue, right? And I'm glad Frank is making a post about it. For me, it's like, I think for most of us, it's more of like a double whammy, because if you want to use 7.1, that hits your GPUs really hard now. So you got to figure out what price you're going to set your stuff at and take a hit on streams, and then you actually have to take a hit on your GPUs as well. So there's just a massive imbalance there, in my opinion. I'm hoping we can solve it. I'm not really sure what the core team, the Livepeer core team, expected to happen when they push this stuff out all at once. Maybe they didn't expect people to set the price per pixel as low as it is now and keep it that way. But it just seems so heavily tilted towards low price right now.
Yeah, so as you can see, prices are pretty low, maybe hard to sustain. And for those that don't know, 7.1 came out, which increased the quality of our streams by changing, what is it, the FFmpeg or the LPMS setting to slow rather than normal. So now we can do even less streams because they're higher quality. So we're charging less per pixel plus or transcoding slower. So yeah, it's a bit of a double whammy. I guess, Frank, do you want to continue on with some of your solutions and kind of what you would like to see happen?
Yeah, sure. For the solution, for the moment, I have no idea except the 3 solution. You can read my post about that, but I think there is a lot of other solution, and you are welcome to share with us. Also, I think it's very important because if the price stayed too low in the time, there is no reason for orchestrator to try to buy new GPU with AV1 capacity to rent other server because they have no job, no money, so there is no reason. So that could impact the whole Livepeer network. I think the price stayed too low for a long time.
Another aspect that I thought of about this was the fact that we get paid in ETH, and let's say we went from 900 Wei per pixel to 400 Wei per pixel, or 450. So it's exactly half, right? So we're charging exactly half, and maybe the market falls by 50%, and some people are at 100 and other people stay at 900, and kind of equalizes around this point. We are getting paid in ETH, so I'm wondering if in like ETH has had a bit of a run up here in the last couple of weeks. What if we hit $4,000 ETH again? And you could say, well, you're getting paid in ETH and you just got a 200% gain on it. Are orchestrators going to be adaptive to changing their price per pixel based on the price of ETH? Or are we arbitrarily just setting it in Wei, and when the price of Wei goes up, we're all going to benefit anyway, so who cares if there's such a cut?
And this is probably why minimums and maximums might not be the right approach.
Anyway, I just thought of this idea of the fact that we do get paid in crypto, and the crypto we're getting paid in is natively quite volatile. So, in a bear market, it's really bad, right? Because not only are we having price competition, but then the thing we're competing in is literally going down in value in a bear market, and then in a bull market, it's going up in value. So does anyone else have an opinion on that?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
And like yourself, I don't want to get on my soapbox, but there's a reason right now I operate from a non-disclosure agreement, because at the end of the day, there's a difference between an understanding of the technology of what crypto is and the currency of what crypto is. And specifically, or let's use an instance of NFTs, for instance, right? There's a disconnect between how to create a system that is beneficial to the orchestrators that are inputting their blocks, their pixels, because that's what we're talking about, right? Because the focus is the output, right? And this volatility is always going to exist because of the source that we're built on. And for me, it's like it's not only a mindset shift, but an actual practical shift in an approach and how to value art, just like we do in the real world, because in the real world, art doesn't depreciate over time.
Right. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And I was just going to say closing, I have a gentleman that I've worked with in the past, and he's built a blockchain type of endeavor based on these theories of creating a formula that timestamps things when people mint them, for instance. And this is what can kind of give you some, I guess, foundational sustainability to compete with the flux of the currency.
Yeah. I think a lot of things have this issue of the actual currency it's priced in fluctuates, like especially NFTs and things like this. I'm wondering if we pegged, like, instead of pricing it in Way, but I know there's people making scripts out there that auto adjusts your Way per pixel based on the price of ETH. So you could peg your orchestrator to the price of something like USD rather than Way itself. So I know there's people making scripts for that, and that can be deployed. Would something like that fix this issue, or is the issue still within the actual algorithm, selection algorithm itself?
I mean, I think part of the problem is that there's just people willing to operate at a loss, at least from an ETH perspective. I mean, you also do have to factor in the the reward side of it. But if people are willing to, transcode at where they're not making money on the transcoding alone, I don't think that's really an algorithm thing. I mean, I don't see how an algorithm's going to fix that. Well, I mean, I guess if you just, I guess some of the options would address it, but I think it's easier said than done, especially when you're talking about an open, decentralized thing that a lot of times we get, even though we know it, we still get caught up with it. There's one main broadcaster on the network, and we kind of gear everything towards that one broadcaster, which makes sense right now, but I don't know how that translates to long-term, goals, and hoping that there won't be one broadcaster that we're getting all of our work from, and how will they implement different selection algorithms?
Or, in another way of looking at this is this implementation went live 2 months ago. Like, the free market still hasn't really grasped maybe this price per pixel that you should be charging, especially when inflation is high enough in LPT tokens that can cover the cost of running most infra that you're not even utilizing the price per pixel. So maybe this is just the free market working as it's supposed to, and simply the only thing we could do to help people operating at a loss, which might negatively impact other people, because you're thinking, wow, that guy's operating at a loss, that's not fair because I don't want to. You could say, well, maybe this is an education problem. Like, maybe we can build some SOPs or some standard practices on how you should be calculating your price per pixel, so you're not just arbitrarily setting it at 50 because you think it sounds good, but maybe we have some sort of public calculator, some sort of thing where we say, you know what, orchestrators should probably use this tool, educate themselves on what the costs are of running this type of infra, and then you can infer that the average orchestrator should be if you're looking at a 50% margin or something, you should be charging 500 Way per pixel, and that's kind of how you could calculate things, and that you would educate the market on the prices that should be set, and if people want to gouge and go lower, then that's their MO, right? It's up to them. But right now, I think a lot of orchestrators are kind of just blindly setting their price, without actually doing the math on what makes them profitable, right?
Makes a lot of sense. I think that would be helpful to educate people or have a tool where they could easily work these things out.
Yeah, like I built a spreadsheet. I could probably just share it with everyone. I built a spreadsheet on how I came up with my costs and how I came up with my price per pixel. And so I can make that public and share it. It's just a spreadsheet. You can punch in your own numbers. But I realized that even at 900, just how my pool works, I'm not profitable at 900. Like, I need to be more like 1,200 or 1,300 to make a profit. So 900 is not even profitable, and I'm at 900 now, and it's yeah, I get like 1 to 2 streams, right? So
And what price of ETH is that at? Because that's a variable too.
what do you mean by price? That was based on, well, okay, good point. That was based on I think $1,500 ETH, maybe 1,600. So we've had a 30% pump since then. So actually, I probably would be profitable at 900 now. Now that I say it, right? How funny is that?
Yeah, it's a very complicated equation because there's all kinds of moving parts. I think that I kind of equate, where we are in the whole Livepeer ecosystem is almost the infancy of television, and where Livepeer is kind of analogous to PBS, which is publicly supported. And at some point in time, there's going to be far more channels that operate 24/7 and have a different pricing model based on time of day and day of year, and special events like the Super Bowl all factor into the price at any given instant.
Yes.
Yes, we're still early, friend, as they say in crypto Twitter. Yeah, I agree.
You guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now, Mike.
No, I was gonna say that this problem is, because it's no clear differentiation between orchestrators. Everyone's the same. There's no value. There's no incentive. There's no certification. There's nothing that says this orchestrator is asking for more because their quality is better, their uptime is better, their reliability is better, their security is better, their whatever is better, right? Like today, there's no manner in which you can stand out to say I'm worth this, and there's no capabilities in the software to say, hey, our capability, we're looking for secure, highly available, highly reliable orchestrator and as a broadcaster. And today there's no way of knowing that. You literally just fire into the void and hope that your stuff gets transcoded. You don't know what it is when he comes back. There's a lot missing in the manner in which prices and things are negotiated. When there's work presented and then there's a price to be presented, there's very, very few options today. Yeah, price per pixel and this stuff is one change they've made recently, but it's still well below where it needs to be to have a true marketplace driven, picture of it.
May I ask another question?
Go ahead, sir.
How many orchestrators are there currently that exist on Livepeer?
100, to be exact.
Can I be 101?
No, sir. You have to be 100. So you have to have enough LPT staked in order to get into the top 100. So
LPT staked.
Yeah.
The more you know.
So for you would have to, I believe, a couple orchestrators have recently left, so the spots have gotten really cheap. So I think you only need like 50 LPT to get in, 46 LPT, something like that.
One LPT to be precise, so more than one.
Yeah, technically it's one, but if you join, that person might bump you out. The 100th spot is a really crappy spot because as soon as somebody else wants to get in, they just have to go one above you, and then you get bumped out for the day, and then you have to bump. It's not a very fun place to be. So usually you want to be in the 99th or higher.
So is this like a DAO, like a live DAO that's running, or?
Nope, it's just the Livepeer Explore. It's just total value locked. Just go to explore.livepeer.org. And
forgive my ignorance.
No, that's okay. Search by delegated stake, and you just have to have above the next guy, and you'll get it.
Okay, copy that. That's great to know. 100. I appreciate that info. That's very insightful.
Yeah. So it's right now limited to 100. So. Okay. What I've done here, as for the calculations, here I'll put this in chat. So yeah, there's my Google Docs. I got like 5 examples of profit per stream and expenses. It might be confusing, but yeah, I don't know. You can check it out. And I think you can just copy paste it into your own spreadsheet if you want to edit it. But yeah, the idea was for anyone that does want. Does anyone want to see explain these calculations, or I'll let you guys just figure it out for yourself. But I see a lot of people are looking at it right now. Oh, well then I'll just explain it real quick. So basically, the pool calculation is how my pool works. You have a standalone orchestrator, so the data has to come into the O, out to the T, back to the O, back to the B. So because of that, it's really expensive. So if you have one stream, what I've done here is you have the pixels, so you have the pixel count. So the most common like thing, I went off the default, which is 720, 480, 360, 240p. I got the pixels in there. So total pixels of 1.5 million times 30 frames per second is how many pixels per second per stream, and then times that by a whole day of streaming. So, if you were to do a day, a whole day of streaming, you're doing something like, was that 1 million billion, 3.8 trillion pixels. The next one is your bit rate. So like the size of the file. So, you get all the bit rates, you convert that into a byte rate, and how many megabytes per second. And but that's going to be about 305 gigabytes of data for that one stream based on a day of that. So then I went, okay, great. I went to my VPS provider. I said, how much do they charge me per gigabyte of traffic? They charge me 1 cent per gigabyte. But I have to double the traffic because it's coming in twice. So my cost on that is $6 a day for that one stream, just on the traffic. A base VPS cost, $24 a month is just kind of what I'm paying. And then, yeah, you just kind of 899 way per pixel, times it by the day, times it by the price of ETH, what your income is, and then what my pool cut would be. And yeah, I mean, I'm operating at a loss with the pool, so as you can see, it's not very good. Yeah, so that explains that. And then, yeah, there's different, so there's pool, and then there's 5 tabs on the bottom. So cost per gigabyte, this is the model I'm using. Unlimited gigabyte. I think if you rent certain servers, they give you like a lot of data. I did a self-hosting calculation, so this is just running your GPU out of your home. A rented GPU, how much it would cost to rent a GPU and the traffic cost, and then this new O/T model of pool that I've been considering, how that would look. Anyway, hopefully that might help some people. If you want to, I mean, it's kind of ugly, but it might help you kind of infer what your costs would be to run an orchestrator.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions on this? And it could be just not correct. Like, this is just my back of the napkin, like math. Like, I'm not sure if I got it right, but yeah.
Not like as a new person, I really appreciate that. That really broke some barriers. So if I have a question, how does the pool earn, or as far as like when the ETH is distributed, is that weighted as well based on your ranking at the end of the day?
Well, a pool there's only 3 pools in Livepeer, and we each all have different ways of calculating how we distribute rewards to our transcoders. So, yeah. But typically, what happens is the pool receives the ETH as income, and then decides how they want to distribute it to the people that are transcoding in the pool. So they can take a flat fee, or they can do some sort of fancy, like Titan Node Pool does this like uptime multiplier shenanigans that like you get less the earlier you are, you get more, you get the later you are, all this kind of stuff. So. But pools are a whole different conversation. That's a whole nother rabbit hole.
Copy that.
So, but yeah, orchestrators, the pools are just orchestrators that have lots of transcoders that are transcoding on their behalf. Okay, cool. Anyone else have any questions about anyone else have any comments around price per pixel and also this pricing war that we're having? Probably shouldn't call it a war. It sounds bad that way, but
not a question, but just a comment on your price calculation spreadsheet.
sure.
I think all the values are, they all look, at least just doing them quickly off the top. I mean, they're all in line with what I would expect. But and obviously you know this, but you're not factoring in the your rewards at all on this stuff, just for just to keep that in mind for anyone else using it. It's just strictly based on transcoding fees. So
Yeah, this is 100% stream based income. So this is not inflate. The thing about inflation though is I don't see inflation as income. I see inflation as ownership of a network. And your ownership increases the more you participate in the network. So to me, like, there's no customer paying me LPT tokens, right? So to me, that's not income. That's just called ownership growth. And the benefit of owning a network such as Livepeer is that it generates ETH as income. So I just don't consider Livepeer as income. I consider it as ownership, and I leave it at that. And the benefit of ownership is, just ETH.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I just pointing that out to if anyone else wants to look at it differently, just something to consider if in your personal calculations.
Yes. So, yeah, anyone feel free to call. I don't like. You can't edit it. Obviously, I didn't allow editing because it's mine. I believe you can copy this, and it copies over all the formulas too. So you can copy it into your own spreadsheet and mess with the numbers. Let's see. Interptr says, I think Titan just nailed the utility of LPT. Oh. Well, it's not like I nailed it. I'm pretty sure that was in the white paper. So, just regurgitating what I've absorbed.
Fair enough. And I also find that sometimes a reasonable or compelling argument to support the value of the price of LPT, the token itself. So just worth dog-earing, noting that. It's a good one.
I mean, Livepeer to me is the closest thing to an equity that's not an equity, right? Like, it's ownership in a network, and the cash flow comes from ETH, and a portion of the cash flow goes to the owners of the network. Like I don't know. It makes so much logical sense to me, and I can digest it so easily that I get it. Whereas a lot of these other protocols, I still just can't seem to get around to the value proposition of what the hell the token is. Governance tokens, strictly governance tokens, those are tough for me to wrap my head around, so yeah, just even using the native currency as the payment method for the network, I just don't think that's just a hard leap for me to make. So yeah, Livepeer is I think the most economically sound way of building a protocol that I've come across for a work token, right? Specifically, not for layer 1s and layer 2s and layer 10s and all this stuff, but those are totally different new things. But yeah, Livepeer makes sense to me in that way.
Oh, one other thing. If anyone else is using your sheet, which I was just kind of playing around with now that I copied it, keep in mind that you have a pool cut in there that for anyone who's using it, they would want to put, I guess, their fee cut in there, right? Is that pretty much, because when I changed that from the 20% to 50 or 75, it makes a huge difference in the profitability. So if you're running you just consider your orchestrator fee cut. Makes it, again, big difference in the in the numbers.
Yeah, if you go to the self-hosted tab, I don't think that's there. I think the self-hosted tab removes that because that was
okay, yeah,
specifically for my pool.
I made it over to unlimited, and then I was like, wait a minute, let me look at this again. I was like, how is this just going? How is this getting so bad here? Okay, yeah, I see there.
And pool cut is assuming that your fee cut on your orchestrator is 100%, so you're receiving all the income.
Yes.
Yeah. So actually, pool cut, funny enough, you could change that to reward cut, and that would be correct.
The fee cut, yeah.
Yeah, fee cut, yeah.
I think that's what I was trying to say if I didn't say it that way.
Okay, yeah. You replace pool cut with fee cut, and then that would actually be pretty accurate. But again, this is doubling the traffic because I'm running a standalone O, whereas if you're not running a standalone O, you don't have to double the traffic, right? And so yeah, the whole point of this exercise was just to figure out if standalone O's work. And then and I'm just realizing that they might not. Or
you mean split
yeah,
ones,
split OT.
Yeah.
Just because of the amount of traffic that you need to, if you're using rented VPSs with bandwidth caps, right? So
having bandwidth caps on a split OT for Livepeer is a tough proposition, regardless of what you're charging and your cuts, from what I found.
Yeah. So I've been looking for
unlimited. If you can get unlimited, it's a big help for Livepeer.
But I talked to a friend who ran an ISP in the early 2000s. Where's Andrew? Andrew needs to be in here. He knows all this stuff. But from my understanding, there is no ISP that gives you truly unlimited bandwidth, right? Bandwidth is literally how they make their money. So they won't ever actually give you unlimited bandwidth.
This is true.
Probably not, but you can. I don't usually run up to. I mean, I haven't had problems with any of my that are advertised as unlimited ever capping me out, for whatever that's worth.
Yeah. Well.
Wait. What? I'm sorry. I was just gonna say what you said is absolutely a true statement. There is no such thing as free data, and there's no such thing as free internet.
Yeah. So, Papa Bear, just to elaborate on your point, though. So with my unlimited, quote unquote, unlimited VPS that I rent, they just have it at 100 terabytes of data transfer per month, which to most people is unlimited.
That was my point. I look at my Hetzner, and over the last month, I had used it says let's see, 6 terabytes of transfer.
Yeah. So just in my calculation here, one stream at HD, transcoding into the 4 renditions, is 9 terabytes a month just for the one stream, right? So if you're at 20 streams, which is what one GPU can do, you're at 183 terabytes of data, which is now double the quote unquote unlimited data I get from my VPS, right? So I was like, oh my god, video streaming takes so much data. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, I'm like, oh, I see why this is a problem now. Like, why like Twitch has insane infrastructure costs. Like, oh, data is crazy. Like, especially video. It's just unreal.
Well, that's why they need us to do all the transcoding, so they don't have to pay the bandwidth for a full, bandwidth stream to go out to everyone. So
Yeah.
that's a give Livepeer use case.
Yeah, because I was like, oh my god, I can't even like 20 streams, because then you go on Twitch and you're like just some nobody that you've never really seen before is just streaming to 1,000 people, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's crazy. Like, okay.
Oh yeah, the delivery is the expensive part. The transcoding is the cheap part.
Right. And so, shouldn't we be offering AV1? Like, that's what's going to get, big people to really want to switch over, like saving them 30% on their CDN cost, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's worth it to pay double for the encoding if you're going to save, 30% on a huge cost versus, paying twice on a relatively small cost in the whole picture or the whole cost.
I'd like to ask a quick question. You just said something that's very interesting to me. Who would you say is Livepeer's competitor?
Competitor. Who wants to take a whack at this? I think I know, but like, I'm gonna let someone else answer.
Well, I don't think in the Web3 space there really is one, but I would say, Amazon, like AWS or
Does Theta still do transcoding? Do they still have that node thing?
I'm not sure.
I haven't looked into them in a while.
Vita was going through some weird stuff, so I don't know what's going on over there. But last time I checked, which was a long time ago, they were introducing transcoding beta. So I don't know. But they use WebRTC, so do they even need transcoding? I thought that was the whole point, was like, yeah, I don't know. I know that it's like offered, like, yeah, they don't offer it as a standalone service. You have to like run it with the other stuff, I think. I don't know. I don't know much about the network too much, but Theta does some form of transcoding, and then yeah, Amazon is the largest transcoding service in the world right now, I believe. Doing something, what, 100 billion? That might include the CDN, but it's like $100 billion market. At least that's what Doug says. But back to this point, I just wanted to quickly mention, Papa Bear, you said, this is the point of, transcoding is reducing these delivery charges. But this comes back to the question around price per pixel, and a comment that Frank, or was it Frank that made this? If we aren't charging enough price per pixel to be profitable, then are we going to avoid upgrading our cards and pushing for AV1 adoption because, hey, it's just not profitable, we keep operating at a loss? And if we're operating at a loss, why not just stick with old 1070s that can do the work? And so by charging so little, are we handicapping ourselves and not getting the latest and greatest, which is what people want, right?
I mean, that's definitely a possibility for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we can say I got 4080 like in a draw at the moment. I'm not using it just because there is no point. I'm not gonna get anything better if I'm gonna replace my 1070 with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a 4070 as well, and yeah, there's no point of using it.
Yeah, exactly. So I think most of the orchestrators wouldn't mind to upgrade their infrastructure if it would be incentive for it, but at the moment there isn't. And if like Mike Zupa mentioned, you're not gonna get recognized for it. Let's say if I'm gonna get the latest GPUs and I'm gonna be greatest at transcoding, I would love to get a little badge, if you know what I mean. Saying, "Oh, here you go, Pon is doing such a great job. He's got latest GPUs and he's so awesome."
Well, the annual orchestrator award ceremony is coming up, so hey, maybe you will get a badge.
I already have one.
Fire up your 4080 Pon. You get the 4080 badge coming up.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
Take a picture of it and post it in Discord. We need to see this thing in action. We need proof.
I did actually. I compared it to 4060. So 4080 is bigger than 4060 Ti in a box.
There you go. Is it faster though?
It is. It can do 25 streams.
I prefer to use my 4070 for a Minesweeper. It's like pretty critical infrastructure there.
All right.
You got to flip those things over fast. Open the or click on the blocks quickly.
That's right. And right click so you can flag them. You know. Need a good GPU for that.
No latency.
Absolutely zero latency. Okay, cool. Okay, we've been talking about price per pixel quite a bit. There are other topics. Yeah, it's been like an hour, but we have other topics, especially newcomers to the community, that we're gonna jump into next here. So, thanks, Frank, for the post about price per pixel, and thanks everyone for enduring the conversation and seeing what solutions are. Please go to Frank's post and comment on it, your opinions and solutions as well. Okay, let's move on. Rumbling Thunder, and then we're going to move on to Eneche after that. So Rumbling Thunder, you have this, your topic was around tokenized video. Can you tell us what you're working on and what your idea is and where you're at with it?
Yes, I can give you like a synopsis. It's like where I'm like right now almost at the finishing stages of phase 1. But it's in complete alignment with everything that you guys have been talking about. As I stated, I have a Bachelor in Fine Arts in film, and I forgot who said it, but it's just a matter of time before everything is where everybody becomes a channel, let's say. And even to dive deeper into like the technical aspects of where I believe things are going, everything will become quote unquote an NFT. So I understand the value of video on the internet. As a multimedia specialist and consultant, that's one thing that I tell my clients when I'm, building commercial concepts, is that 80% of all content on the internet that's ingested every day is video. And it's just interesting to me, the evolution of things over the last 8 years, let's say, because of the technology coming into the people's hands and merging to where people can now become their own little self-studios, where this is where now Twitch, like you mentioned, is a thing. So I'm glad you guys threw that out there as a comparison, because this is the lane that I'm in. And as an independent film guy, like I have documentaries and stuff like that, right? And understanding the film business, like the reason why I stayed to get my degree is understanding why Will Smith gets paid $25 million a year. Like those are real numbers. And right now, just understand that we're at a very pivotal time where media is merging with tech and coming in the hands of the common person to where, you know, it's accessible like via like Walmart per se. It's just a lack of understanding and ease of access and, you know, user friendliness, let's say, to where it's not mainstream already. So this is where I'm trying to be, or not trying, I am being a catalyst and a bridge specifically for artists to come into the Web3 space under the premise of learning branding and intellectual property, and that intellectual property being encrypting their assets.
Amazing. Do you have a demo or anything?
I call it my multimedia mothership. So I have a website that I used as a platform, as a portfolio, but now I just turned it into a if you ask me what I'm doing or what I can do, here it is. And it's marshallstudios.online, marshallstudios.online. Crypto, film, music, like anything multimedia related. I'm, it's an interesting time to be alive, to have a cryptographic network engineering background and, have a fine arts degree. The currency aspect is, like I said, where I'm lacking and catching up on. And there's definitely some solutions to be made. Again, it's just going to take like a paradigm shift when we're talking about how we operate mentally, especially in the crypto space, and especially how we view art. I'll modestly say that I help coin the phrase is content is king versus cash over king. And that statement holds true more than now, especially when you understand metadata.
Very cool. So marshallstudios.online. Can you put that in the chat on the side?
Sure.
Cool. Yeah, we'll check it out. And at Livepeer, the community here, we'd love to support anyone who's building on top of Livepeer. So, if you ever need anyone help or want some feedback, feel free to just reach out. Yeah.
Help.
As well as the Livepeer Innovators DAO does retroactive grant funding for people who've built stuff using Livepeer. So you can earn a grant like up to, maybe like $100,000 for stuff you've built. So make sure you apply for that if you are putting use onto the network through Livepeer Studio.
Thank you. I'm on that ASAP.
Are you familiar with the Livepeer Innovators DAO website?
This is where, so I just joined Livepeer about 6 weeks ago. And I uploaded some assets, and originally, I'm not even gonna say originally, like I just tested out how to embed the videos on my blog, So I have an extensive background in network engineering, but I am way more an artist, like that is my past background. So this is where I need help to kind of be a catalyst to help me be a catalyst to artists, because I understand why artists are on Instagram, vying for attention every day, giving away their metadata and intellectual property versus utilizing Livepeer is just a lack of knowledge and a lack of, incentive. So there's definitely a way to bridge that gap. And like I said, I definitely would like to be a use case, if you will, to learn how to implement and add value to the token.
Very cool. Yeah. I would highly recommend applying for your retroactive grant funding if you do drive any type of traffic through Livepeer. So Livepeer Studio, if you're uploading assets, you build an app that uploads assets, that any type of video that you push into the network, we want to reward, and we reward it through ownership. So you earn LP. We will grant you a lump sum of LPT for building any app on the ecosystem. So yeah, apply for the grant if you do get it up and going.
Like that's exactly what I'm trying to do is build an app on top of it. So
yeah, and this is like just don't lose the website. Go look at it, read it, and apply for it. There's lots of there's quite a bit of LPT up for grabs. So yeah, highly encourage you to do it. Cool. Oh man, that's exciting. Welcome so much to the community, Rumbling Thunder. It's great to have you here, and we are eager to see your success in the future as you keep building. Okay, cool. Let's Eneche. Eneche, is your microphone on, sir? Do you want to come up and tell us a little bit about what you're working on? I see you have. I can't hear you. I don't know if you're talking. But Eneche has this. There you go. Go ahead. Eneche. There you go.
Yeah, I'm talking. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I have the proposal for Livepeer grants on the distributor actually. So it's monetizing for orchestrators and podcast. So the problem is Live currently doesn't have any for advertisements for podcaster. So I can build a DApp on a video DApp on Livepeer, say a streaming platform, something similar to Twitch or something I like. And I have video content on this platform, but there is no monetizing these videos, you understand?
Yeah, it's very
especially
good.
for a podcaster, accessible for everyone. And the only yeah, and the only way so far podcaster have been able to monetize videos so far is subscription based. They tokenize their video or put a or their videos or find one way of like maintaining subscription, which can limit access to viewers this subscription. Can I still be heard? Titan, can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah, keep going. There's a bit of a delay in your microphone, and
yeah.
But yeah, keep going.
Okay. So other methods of monetization so far that podcasters have been employing, it's, as I said, subscription, pay-per-view, or tokenizing the videos. But as we all know, it's other streaming platforms, like the common ones, like say YouTube, for example, or Twitch, or any other platform built like on Amazon or the rest, have this whole monetizing of their content using adverts, which is like the most common way of monetizing content so far, and easier way, you understand? I and my team have this proposal of introducing ad stitching, dynamic ad stitching to be precise, on Livepeer, where we allow ads to be stitched on videos. This will be optional. Not all podcaster have to add. If you want it, you just have to activate it. So we are looking on integrating on the Go Live Pair node or on the Catalyst. For those who don't know, Catalyst is like the ocean for you to host your independent, podcaster platform. So benefits of this proposal is to introduce a new way of monetizing on platform. I've been here since the start of the meeting, and I think the first topic was on price per pixel, where I guess everyone agreed that the supplier supplier is higher than demand on the platform, and ways of we need ways of enticing should be the right word. Enticing more streamers or podcasters to onboard on Livepeer. And if Livepeer can tell this podcaster that, oh, if you onboard on our platform, there are other ways of monetizing your platform, like adverts. I think we are going to have like a rise or a surge with on Livepeer where more podcaster come to allow put their video content, because video content, as we all know, it is expensive to create. It needs some higher videographers, some higher use some special software that are paid to create these videos, and to create such a video without any way of raising revenue from it is kind of a waste. Some of them are just stick to creating a subscription model limits 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 their user, you know. So I think monetizing with adverts on Livepeer is a good step towards increasing the broadcasters on the platform. And since this stitching would be primarily done on the node, we think orchestrator can also benefit from this new feature. Uh, I don't really know if this is appealing to orchestrator for them to reduce their costs. Like they will stitch this ad videos, but need flow. In exchange, they get earnings from ad they stitch onto videos of podcaster.
Hmm.
Hope I hope I can still be heard. I'm not really sure of my thing. Titan, can
Hmm.
you
Yeah, I've got some questions for you based on
hear me?
the introduction of this, which is, I think, is absolutely amazing. I love the
Yeah.
idea of monetizing the streamer, allowing the streamer to monetize without actually having to maybe ask for money or any of these ways. As we know, like Twitch, it clearly works off of ad revenue. So I do have a couple questions though about your
Yeah.
implementation. The first question is, where do ads come from? Like who's where?
Okay.
Is there going to be an ad
Okay.
market, or how do you plan on getting these ads out there?
Okay. For the ads, they could be integration with Amazon for one. Amazon have a manager that kind of aggregates different ad network. Google Ad Manager is one example of a platform that aggregates different ad network. Ad network are just a, how should I put it? Should I use the word pool? A pool of advertisers and publishers are those people that are going to like push the ads for the public to see, while
Yeah.
the advertisers or the companies or business wanting to like advertise their products. So something like Google Manager kind of aggregates this ad network and kind of helping the routing. So I myself, as a publisher, I could just sign up on Google Ad Manager and just publish this ads for a company for a fee. You
Right.
understand? So at first we are thinking of, or at first we're not thinking we are going to allow node integration, like an interface, something like a command line interface where a orchestrator can actually connect its node to an ad manager like Google, Amazon. But the long term is my team wants to run a decentralized ad network, fully dedicated to like that. It means the only publisher we support on this decentralized ad network would be only Livepeer orchestrator nodes. So, and the only media for publishing would be only video assets. So that's the long-term plan.
So your long-term view is you want, a
Network where we
fully
could
specialized ad network for Livepeer that you could build out from top to bottom. But in the meantime, you could use some sort of Web 2,
exact
Web 2
Exactly.
solution like Amazon or Google, ads that are already built, already have payers, and you can start just quickly integrating, the orchestrators could draw upon their pool of ads and immediately pay the streamer and even pay for the transcoding with the ad revenue. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you looked at other Web3 ad
So that
platforms like Brave? Like Brave does advertising through crypto. Have you considered integrating through them?
Yeah, I've checked a couple. I've checked a couple. I've checked one recently called blockchain ad. It does this wallet. Nothing on video yet. Nothing on video, like specifically or dedicated to video. And the whole idea my team have is just this network is solely dedicated to live bear, not going to have it's just niche down to life bet. I've checked it out a couple already. So they all how should I put it, is allowing this kind of new job type on the node.
Right.
I think it's going to be an amazing future. And since the orchestrator are having this also of fighting for work, little work, and having to reduce their their cost or their fee for transcoding. Sometimes the real world doesn't really match up. You know,
Mm.
so I think increasing or introducing more monetization scheme on life pair is the one way of sustaining this whole network, because without the orchestrator, the network kind of go down, and orchestrator need podcaster to give them work. So it's kind of like how should I put it, point tackle system. We are we are going to increase the revenue for orchestrator by allowing them to charge, and also we're going to entice more podcaster on the network if they know they can actually monetize their video assets rather than just create an asset and look for other ways of
Definitely.
the spontaneous and the spontaneous way of um so I we really like everyone's opinion on this,
Yeah.
because I made this application some weeks back, and I've gotten words from life parents. He really wants to know, he's really interested in community buying, if this is something that will appeal to the community. So I just want to have a little bit of, feedback from the community to say if this is a good proposal on,
Well, I
ways
really
of making it better and, fit well into the life packs.
well, it's really funny that you bring this up, because as you can tell, we're having this discussion around price per pixel and issues with income for orchestrators. And yet here's a brand new revenue stream for orchestrators that we can now plug into an ad network and serve ads directly through the live video channel and help monetize and support the orchestrators, as well as the streamers themselves, right? Doing kickback where some go to the orchestrator, and some of the income goes to the streamer, and it becomes like a nice you know equilibrium. So I think I'll go ahead and say I think I'm pretty excited, because anything to increase the income of the orchestrator, I think orchestrators are going to be pretty in line with that. So I think you'll probably get pretty good buy-in. I would recommend any orchestrator who's interested in this, please go over to the GitHub, and I see that the post is only 3 days old for the application. So please go and comment your thoughts and opinions, read through the proposal, and give some feedback. I appreciate you being here, especially so early in your development. so that we can provide some feedback. But this is an idea that I've thought of over the last year, which is monetizing ads. And yeah, so I do have one quick question. You
Yeah.
said,
So
yeah, go ahead. You can comment. You go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
okay. Okay. The plan is to launch 2 to 4 nodes initially. This extended node that can support stitching on the platform. Like from my team will host this node herself. So that's to start off, like to be part of the network and to start this whole journey up. But that's the whole roadmap.
Very cool. So I do have a question though about your implementation. You said that the orchestrators are the ones that stitch together the ad directly into the video. Is there a reason we're stitching it at the orchestrator
Yeah.
level? Can't this be done at like the front end where your video player just switches to an ad with some JavaScript logic and it doesn't actually need to be encoded into the video? What's the reason for this design choice?
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that question. The implementation for ad stitching could be client side also, but the issue with client side implementation is majorly latency. Latency is part of it, and also the load time on the front end. And our choice of ad insertion is called dynamic ad insertion, where we are actually pushing targeted ads to specific not specific to streamers or viewers, I mean, using some parameters. So how it works is that these ads are not just pushed just like that. They are actually kind of targeted. So the player kind of send away, because we are working on something. We're working on an extended video player on Livepeer and also on the node. The player kind of sends some parameters or some properties of the machine being used to watch these videos, like the location of the viewer, so just some information will be sent to the backend, which we use to tailor the ads that is going to be sent back. And it gives server side ads, like the one done in the notes, will give a smoother flow between the video, the main video, and the video and the ad break. You understand? Because this ad break are going to be in different segments of the videos. It could be pre-roll, mid-roll, or post-roll, like before, middle of the video, and the end of the video. So I think a smoother transition from the main video content to this ad would be better if this implementation is done server side. Although I have this discussion with my team where we think that maybe having this, because the whole how should I put it? The major moving parts in this implementation is what we call a manifest manipulator. It kind of take send the manifest to the player. This manifest has lot of information attached to it, as when the video break would appear in the video, some other stuff. So we are thinking that maybe we could just have the manifest manipulator and just make this a
Right.
thing.
So what you're saying,
But
so just to be clear, because your microphone is cutting out just a little bit, and I'm not sure if your internet connection is very good, but I just want to clarify that you are stitching together the video as it's being transcoded, so there's only one video stream that is coming out, right? Because you said there's targeted ads, but how can you have targeted ads if you're stitching in the video into the actual video, right? Like, wouldn't you just do an overlay so that you can do a targeted ad on the client side?
Yeah, that's one. That's one. We could make it an overlay or like a small box on the side of the player, or we could make it ad break. All these are still things we are yet to decide actually. We only came up with an implementation on Go Livepeer and on Catalyst.
Right.
So, but the method of display of these ads is still something we are still going to decide during development. But for now, we have for Catalyst and for Go Livepeer. The only reason why the major reason why we want it on Catalyst is because of the idea of increasing revenue for orchestrators,
Right. I wonder too. So
casters, getting this ad revenue.
so I have another question. So, you know, when in Web3 we have this concept of like decentralization, and so Livepeer, I've been seeing a lot of people building cross-platform, you know, like Lens protocol is this this social layer, and then you have multiple apps, and they all cross communicate, and so live streaming. One thing that Twitch doesn't allow is for you to embed their streams onto someone else's website, because they might not have the logic on the client side to do the advertising. So what you end up having is they're paying for the delivery, but there's no logic for displaying ads and generating that revenue, just because the source isn't actually have the ads in it, right? It's the client side. And so there could be an argument that for Web3, maybe we want to stitch the video together, because then we can verify that no matter what platform you're watching it on, whether it's this website or that website, you are actually getting delivered the ad because it's stitched into the video, right? Which is more of the Web3 ethos to begin with, right? Because targeted ads are actually, funny enough, the opposite of the Web3 ethos, right? The Web3 ethos is, you don't want to know anything about me. I don't want you to have my age, gender, all this stuff cached into your database. I don't want targeted ads. But maybe stitching them into the video, you can verifiably prove that it's been delivered across any platform that has, iframed your video into it. So anyway, these are just interesting considerations. So it sounds like you're going with the stitching model rather than the client side model, which is very exciting for orchestrators.
Titan, thank you for that. So the targeted ads were actually something jolly, maybe more better if it was targeted ads rather than just spamming user with all kinds of different ads. Maybe just ads they'll be interested in. What you talked about privacy and sending user data, maybe it's like really against the whole organization on the web 13. It's something my team and I are willing to have a rethink on it. But that is something. Then idea of the whole server side insertion is, as you said, our proposal will make this ad insertion independent of what kind of device is being used to view these assets, either a mobile phone or web page or web pages. It's going to be independent of that. So the choice of server side integration. But we are open to all. Our whole interest is to actually have advertising possibility or advertising feature on the Livepeer network. So we are actually open to for this. So for a client side, we are where we have an implementation for how to put SCT 835 markers on the catalyst, and so hello everyone.
Yeah.
Eneche, your mic is cutting out. I was really interested in what you're saying. You say you guys are interested in looking for what again?
Rumble.
Yeah, Eneche, unfortunately, it's very hard to hear you.
Rumbling thunder. Sorry, I didn't hear what you say. Can you repeat again if you don't mind?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I still don't understand what you're saying. It's cutting out so much. It's hard to hear you.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The same thing. It's
Oh, what about
you're
now?
cutting out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. You know what? What we'll
what
do
about
is
now? Am I better?
it's okay, but again, like it's really hard to hear. So what we'll do is, Eneche, why don't we? The best thing to do is, this is actually such a big topic that maybe we should have you on for a Q&A session, and we can dive in deeper on the development of this. Every once in a while, we do Q&A sessions for a water cooler where we put aside an hour and we do a deep dive into a topic. And so the topic could be around your ad stitching idea. So why don't we, like, we have a really good introduction into your proposal and what you're trying to build. So I would recommend all orchestrators, please go to the GitHub, read through the application and comment on it. I think this is a really cool idea. Yeah, and yeah, let's schedule in for a Q&A session, and we'll do some testing ahead of time, make sure that your internet connection is good and nice and clear, so that it's because it's just cutting out a little bit right now. So, but yeah, let's plan for that, and I think that would be a really good topic. So, either way, I'm really excited. Does anyone else have any comments on this proposal? And I know that chat has been talking quite a bit. Does anyone want to make any comments on it?
I just wanted to know, like, where could I go to find out more? Like how, like
Here's
when
the
you guys.
link. The link's just
appreciate
way
it.
up high. Let me just grab it and pull it down to the bottom. There. Here. Okay, it's in chat. All right, so there is the actual grant itself. So it should have a pretty good description of what it is they're trying to achieve and all this kind of things. So, and they're applying for funding, I believe. So not only can you apply for funding on the front end to build it, but when it goes live, we could provide you retroactive funding through the Livepeer Innovators DAO as well. So keep that in mind. That there might be some more rewards on the back end if you do build something successful on top of Livepeer. And Eneche, thank you so much for joining us. I really do appreciate you being here. Please come back to the water cooler chats. We really want to follow along on your successful journey. So very cool. Very exciting. Okay. For those that are wondering, just hop into the chat there. It's the last thing. And Eneche, I'll add you. I'll DM you about scheduling a water cooler chat, a Q&A session. Okay. Excellent. Wow, that's amazing. Cool.
Thank you, Ty.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for joining us as always. It's amazing. Okay, we only got like just a couple more topics. Let's go into real quick MZ around the African channel and Discord. Do you want to quickly talk about that and what you would like to see? And is MZ in here? Oh, he's still in the. I'll invite him up. In the meantime, let's get Mike Zoop to talk about the Streamr call, the Streamr meeting he had last week. Give us an update, Mike.
Yeah, so I met with Nico, Speedy Bird, and I were meeting to discuss, what the integration looks like, you know, how the streamer team might be able to help us. What are some of the challenges for getting it started, getting it set up? So we had a good conversation about that, and I think the next steps are for me to publish a document that describes what the proposed integration looks like. But I fear there's a lot of challenges around the integration. Not necessarily how to implement, it's whether or not there's true value. So when I get this document together, maybe this week, or I'm trying to get it ready for this week, but hopefully when I have a chance to publish this final document, I'll let the community weigh in. Maybe I'll have, like you said, for the prior gentleman, I'll have a chance maybe to do a question and answer where folks can read the document, take a look at it, and see if they have questions or thoughts or concerns. But to sum up the basic concerns that I have would be like, if we're going to integrate Streamr, it's going to be real-time data collection. That's awesome. And it would be, literally orchestrators would have to, set this up on their node, and then there would be some sort of sharing of information. And I think we were talking about transcoded pixels and transcoded minutes to get an accurate picture on the Livepeer Explorer of what that might look like. And I feel like if there's not a mandate to have all orchestrators participating, meaning it's baked into the integration, then we might end up with a situation where orchestrators decide to opt out and they don't want to share data, or maybe they fork the repo and take out the Streamr integration. There's always a scenario where some of the data we want to collect may not be, people may not want to share it. So like I said, it may sound a lot now, but let me get my document published and share the proposal that we've been talking about, and then hopefully the orchestrator community can chime in and talk about what it might look like. Maybe they have some alternative ideas, but that's where we are.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up. Did there, from your perspective, your point of view, do you see value in this real-time data? Like it seems as though there's a lot of applications that rely on real-time data for really important things, like for instance dexes or oracles, right? They really need this real-time data. But what is the real value of Livepeer orchestrators sharing real-time data? Is it there in your opinion, or is it kind of just not enough value add?
Well, I look at it, and then this is one of the conversations we had as well, was, outside of the transcoded minutes, like what other use cases actually make sense for this integration to work? And if you look at some of the technical roadmap that Livepeer had put in place, where they said, they want a system in which, broadcasters can broadcast out and say, hey, I have this VOD job and I need it to be done at this time. I need it to have this quality. I need to have, whatever the metrics are that the broadcaster would need to make a request to say, hey, can somebody transcode this for me? And I think Streamr is a way that broadcasters and orchestrators can communicate to each other in a permissionless way that allows the capabilities and the needs of the transcode request to be negotiated, like with messaging in real time, to be able to say, you have this job, I have these capabilities, and we have these prices, and they make sense. And then, a stream can be given to that particular orchestrator. So I think today, the current thoughts about integrating Streamr, I think it's really hard to look at the value and understand how it works for just minutes transcoded, or even if it's 2 or 3 key metrics. I think it seems like not worth the effort, right? There's really little incentive for the orchestrators as well to participate, especially if you're looking at it from a standpoint of, hey, it's just a public good, you know, you're sharing data for free that normally would be private, so that, you know, the community at large can see the minutes transcoded. And again, I don't know if that in itself is of value, but as you look at more of the future leaning towards some of the capabilities that we want to see the protocol have, I think then Streamr looks like it plays a tighter integration there. But right now, I still think it's a good idea. I'm not sure if the community would get behind this and say, yeah, sure, I'll run it. And if we have only 20, 30, 40% of the community supporting it and implementing it, how much value are we going to actually get out of it? So those are the conversations to be had, but that's kind of where the thoughts are now.
Yeah. I think if it was low hanging fruit, that you could, you know, quickly pluck off the tree and, okay, cool, we'll just add this little feature, use it if you want, or like, you know, like the integration time is so small that it just becomes like, why not? It's a nice to have. But by the sounds of it, it's not like that. By the sounds of it, it's going to take quite a bit of work. Is that what you're kind of
Well,
saying?
no, I don't know if the amount of work is the issue. Really, it's, you know, if we actually implemented something like this in the protocol, are there enough use cases to warrant this thing, right? Like, you know,
Uh,
getting instructions for the node to get set up for the orchestrator, being able to say, oh, okay, you know, this makes sense. I'm going to share this. And, you know, like there again, when I get the document together, I think it'll make a lot more sense. I just feel like as of today, where I'm from my vantage point is that, you know, participation is paramount. If we can get 80, 90% of the orchestrators on board and they think it's a good idea and they'd be willing to share the data, then I think there really is an opportunity for this to be a good integration. And I think one of the other areas where it might also help is when we start talking about this price per pixel stuff. And I'm not trying to bring that topic up again, but, you know, if you as a orchestrator have the ability to publish your pricing data so that anyone can see it, then you have the ability to start to look at, you know, what is the network at large charging for these streams, and you can put intelligence in place to say, hey, orchestrator, we're seeing real-time price changes that are going up or down, and then you can dynamically adjust your prices in accordance to this intelligent data collector of sorts. You know what I mean? Some way of saying, I'm going to keep track of the trends of the pricing, and we're going to monitor that. And again, this is a system that's going to do that. And orchestrators could subscribe to this system so that they can get real-time feeds at what's the most optimal price for them to run, you know, balancing streams and price, right? Getting the most value out of your transcoding operation. And I think those are the kinds of opportunities where if we could collectively siphon data off from all orchestrators in a transparent way, I think it enables other systems to help solve some of the problems that we can't even see right now that need to be solved. And I think the price per pixel one is you know, we can hear some of the discussions about it, but I think a more dynamic system based on analytics is probably going to be where we can actually optimize for the proper price.
well, there you go. Does anyone else have any comments or questions about Streamr and what Mike is working on?
Stay tuned for the document. I know some of this stuff may seem too high in the sky right now, but I'll get a picture out and I'll have some descriptions about what the actual integration looks like, some of the pros and cons of the implementation we're proposing, and I'll get, you know, some of the benefits and use cases that are needed. And I think that'll give enough of the folks here ammunition to come back with some more intelligent questions. So if you don't have any now, just hold tight. Let me get this document produced and I'll share it amongst the community here and hopefully you know, spur some more conversation. And if it doesn't, then I know it's not the project I should be working on and I'm gonna put it down. But if there is consensus, then I'd like to build up a group of individuals who want to trumpet this forward. So just stay tuned.
Very cool. Right on, right on, right on. Cool. Okay, well, we've gone through all of our topics. Been a solid 2 hours. Do appreciate you all being here. Do we have any other topics or questions or comments before we sign off? Oh wait, MZ's here. MZ, you said the African channel. Can you tell us a little bit about what you are requesting?
Yeah. Okay, so it's basically just like every other channel, just like a space. I'm just trying to create an avenue where, other Africans can come together and reason and talk and look for other ways to increase demand for the Livepeer network in general. I'm sure there are a couple other Africans in here that probably have thought about it but have not been able to speak up. But it's nothing too serious. We just like need a channel where we can all get together where we can feel like, okay, we have a space here, because generally what Livepeer is all about. There are a lot of Africans who are into video streaming, who are very, very interested in stuff like this. So, and also another reason is because I'm looking towards working on an NFT project, a little bit of Africa related, but 100% in benefit for the Livepeer network. So I'm just trying to create a space where all of this will be possible through communicating and networking. And also it will be English in there as well. So it's, every other person would be welcome to communicate in there as well. So that's just like the general idea behind it.
That's very interesting. I think a good thing would be to start is maybe just like a thread, like a 7-day thread, where we can put that somewhere. And I think for the most part, the Discord moderators want to see adoption before they start a new channel. So what would be the best channel to put the thread under, you think? Like, is this for building, right? Like maybe under video builders? What purpose do you think the African channel would serve under? Probably network. Under general.
I'm looking. Maybe we could put it on the
under languages, but that's not really a
nah,
language though.
yeah, we can't put it on the languages. So it could be under
under general.
Maybe builds or under general or builds.
Under build. Okay, cool. Well, let's do that. I'll create a thread, a 7-day thread, and kind of if it gets some usage and adoption, it'll be there. And then I think just in general, if you were to ask the Discord mods to put a new channel in, they'd probably want proof that people actually want it. So let's start with a thread and get people to use it, and if we see adoption, then it'll probably just get adopted into a full-time channel.
Yeah, sure, that's okay with me.
Cool. Right on, right on.
And also, sorry, I wanted to talk about something, right? I noticed that whenever we have like phishing links in the general channel or other channels, it takes a while before any of the mods can actually come and delete the links. Yeah, I know a lot of people already know how these things work, but if a phishing link is posted to a channel and it takes a lot of time before it gets deleted, there's a lot of chance that at least 1 or 2 person would have fallen for it. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think that just comes down to moderators need to be diligent, tag the moderators. I'm wondering too, like other Discord channels, they like ban links altogether. I'm not sure if that's the right way, but yeah, phishing is going to be a problem, especially if we're coming up to the Bitcoin halving and a bull run, and it just gets spammed. So yeah, I don't know. I think we just need to be more diligent on banning these types of people.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm just saying maybe we should try to make it to do it a little faster. But that's already okay. I just wanted to talk about it.
Cool. Well, we'll just well, that's good. I'll keep an eye out too, and DN. I know Alvin is in the audience. He's a moderator. You can always DM Alvin if you ever see an issue, or I think or you can DM me as well. I think I have banning powers as well. So just just ban those guys. Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us, everyone, being here to build the world's open video infrastructure, Livepeer. Appreciate you all being here. Next week, we do have a Q&A session with a Livepeer core developer, Evan. He'll be here to discuss what he's been working on. So, yeah, Q&A session next week, and then we'll see if we can get some more coming up into the new year. So, thank you all for being here, and we will see you all next week. Cheers.